Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got good news and I got bad news. So went out and drove the car again a couple more times, putting more miles on it, and I smell coolant. I'm like, that's not good. So I get back and I notice I'm blowing oil out of the catch can's filling up with oil, and the car's white smoking. I've blown a head gasket, like 99% chance blowing a head gasket. So that sucks. But it is what it is. You know, stuff happens sometimes. So I was like, well, I could just tear this down, put another head gasket in it, or this honestly is like the universe speaking to me, telling me I need to put this other head on. A buddy of mine, big shout out, Giante, hooked me up. When he went K-Series, he parted out his B-Series stuff, and I was able to get his old head, which was a B16 head with GSR cams. I believe that's a GSR intake manifold. Pretty, I think there's a little bit of, it's got a little bit of port work done on it. Nothing crazy, light ported head. But everybody has told me going to a B16 head from a B18 B1 head will raise the compression, which is good because I went with a super low compression piston whenever I built this motor, not thinking. So that should help me on spool time and horsepower, which, I mean, spool time helps with horsepower as well, but both. It should help me all the way around, which is awesome. So, yeah. Sorry about that. I got a phone call. So from what I understand, talking to Giante, that B16 head has already, the oil, there's like an additional oil passage or something that when you go LS VTEC, because I have a B18 B1 bottom end, you have to put a plug in or you get it welded up and redecked. And he already had it welded up and then redecked. So I think that head's like literally ready to slap on. I will double check with them and make sure I don't need to get it resurfaced, but I think I can just slap it on and we're good to go. Let me put my seatbelt on so this thing don't get mad at me. As for making everything work VTEC wise, I believe I need to run like an oil line up. I'm not 100% sure. I've never done an LS VTEC. I had a GSR with like the factory, you know, B18 C whatever, C1. And it had VTEC, but I never really did a lot with that car. And then when I had a K-Series, I did VTEC Killer when locked in the lobes, but that's totally different. I mean, you could lock them in on a B18, but I don't know why you would. I don't even know why I did on the K-Series. So, yeah, that's where we're at. B18, B1 bottom end, Wiseco pistons, Eagle rods. I think I need different head studs. I believe that the head studs are a different size, or a different length, not different size, different length for the B16 head. I'll double check that as well. So actually, parts wise, I don't need much, and it's a different head gasket. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and start ordering some parts and start tearing that down. The only thing I don't know what I'm going to exactly get is I've heard really good people say, or really good stuff about the Cometic head gaskets, and then I've heard people be like, don't buy them. My dad does like round track stuff and he hates them, but then I think that's what I went with on the current motor I have, and I just blew the head gasket. So, of course I tell my dad and he's like, I told you so, told you so. Should have got a Fail Pro. And I'm just like, Fail Pro? Really? Really? I don't know. If you guys have any recommendations, please drop it down below. And yeah, let's go tool around a little bit. I do have an eye doctor appointment today because getting my eyes looked at, so I don't know how long I'll be able to actually work on the car for, but next time the video cuts, it'll probably be dark, or might be daylight and then dark. Yeah. There is about a 1% chance that I cracked a sleeve, and that's why it's burning coolant and pushing oil. So cross your fingers that I didn't do that, because I have done that in the past and that sucks. But the way it was running, like you can start it up and run it, and it seems smooth. It still could be a crack sleeve. I'm just trying to tell myself it's not, because that would suck. That would really suck. I'd have to find me another block and go all over again. Whew. Yeah, that'd be bad. All right, see you in a little bit. All right, guys, so I reached a stopping point tonight. I'm about ready to call it and get some sleep, but we got the exhaust manifold off. This may end up biting me, but there is enough room that I could just unbolt it, slide it forward, and then I can lift the head out and then drop the new one in and slide it all back on. So that way, hopefully I don't have to like unbolt the turbo, unbolt all the intercooler piping. I did have to unbolt the V-band clamp for the exhaust and let that sag down. I still got to take the radiator loose, or radiator pipe loose, take the distributor off. I think I'm going to leave the intake on, since I'm not going to be using that intake. I'm using the GSR intake because they won't work, vice versa. But I got to disconnect everything from the intake, and then pop the timing belt off, pop the power steering off, and I think that's it. Then I can start taking the cam caps off and then take the head out. It's been a while since I've pulled the head off of one of these, but it's definitely bringing back memories working on them. So if you have any advice, please drop it down below, and I'm going to be doing that OLS VTEC, so look out for it. Later, guys. Whew. All right, so I decided just to include this all into one video, but it is now a new day. I got everything, what I think, disassembled, so I'm ready to pull the head. I'm leaving the intake manifold attached because I'm not going to be using that on my GSR B16 head, because an LS intake manifold doesn't fit. So yeah, just pulling it all out in one unit. All right, and make a good spot to set this bad boy down. About to pull it off. Any problem yet? Not yet. Pop it off, please. Okay, we got that. All right. Oh, Tibbs wants to see you, by the way. Where's he at? In the house up there. Okay, I'm getting ready to go back there. He was yelling, pop, 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 pop. Yeah. All right, well, that's not what I wanted to see. So I was wondering why the car was overheating, and it looks like blown head gasket. And I was kind of figuring that. I was like, yeah, good opportunity to put a b18 head on. But I didn't drive this thing for like, once I noticed it got hot, like I literally just straight home. But in that short amount of time, we did some damage. Kind of makes me wonder if it leaned out. I called Jay Mills, and he wants me to bring the injectors by just to get them flowed. I'm not going to reuse those injectors, but just so we can kind of narrow down and see what happened to this thing, I am curious. And he is too, because set of Wiseco pistons don't just crack like this that easily. So let me show you what we're working with. All right, so there's a crack. There's a crack right there. This one's got a crack right there. Is that a crack right there? No, I don't think this one's cracked. No. And then this one's cracked right there. So, yeah. That one took a lot of damage right there, though. Looking at the head gasket, where'd it go? Oh, here it is. So here's how the head gasket lays. Looks like this cylinder took the most damage on the piston, so I was wondering if this is the one that blew. Oh, it's kind of hard to tell. Oh, that's how it goes right there. I don't know. I can't really tell. I mean, there's definitely some wear marks, but I don't know. Urgh. Well, that is frustrating, but luckily I just rolled it over. Well, I need to roll it over again and look at the other cylinders. But these two center cylinders look pretty good, so we might be able to do. Oh man, this freaking head gasket. Need two hands to get it off here. Might be able to get lucky and just slap some pistons in it. So yeah, I had to do this on my old blue car. It was a Civic back in the day, turbo B18. It cracked a piston. We were able to just slap another set in there. Uh-oh, there's work. All right, guys, y'all take it easy. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next one. Adios.